All right, this is Donell J. Blount Sr., A.K.A. Basil, and I'm here on Prison Ride Radio with the sister J. Renee, who has given me the opportunity to come on her platform and to bring light to a new case that we learned about recently of a brother named Emmitt George Roscoe Jr., who is being abused by officials out here in Virginia Department of Corrections. Mr. Roscoe has been able to win numerous lawsuits proving that he has been tortured at the hands of guards at the notorious Red Onion State Prison, and on par with how they treat you once you have won lawsuits, they ship him out of state. You're going to hear him there in his own voice explain some of the things that he's had to suffer as a result of being litigious and bringing to light all the abuses or some of the abuses that have taken place at Red Onion State Prison. Roscoe, you don't mind introducing yourself to the people?
Yeah, my name is Emmitt George Roscoe Jr. That's my government name. My God-conscious name is Emmitt Muhammad X.
All right. And where were you before you were shipped to Maryland?
I was incarcerated at Red Onion State Prison.
And it's my understanding that you've been able to win lawsuits out there at Red Onion?
Yeah, I've been successful on a numerous of claims. My very first claim that I was successful on was a prior complaint claim where officer engaged in sexual harassment, verbal sexual harassment at the site. He asking for formal complaint to grievance some issues that was going on within the unit that I was out there, and it just plugged on to it went on to a whole different spiel once I began to show that I knew what my constitutional rights was, despite being incarcerated as a black man in America. They then began to use tactics of retaliation and things of that nature, and things of that nature, which brought about Bosco versus Collins, which was my most successful lawsuit that I won.
All right, so just to be clear, after having been subjected to sexual harassment by officer, you were able to take this case to court and prove that he had in fact subjected you to sexual harassment?
Yeah, basically, yeah. I went to a trial before a jury and represented myself. It was a line of little complicated things that went on, in the midst of this. So me and a brother was in the cell, and they had triple-fire recreation, and I was one of the guys who always, advocated for the rights of the prisoner. So they were saying they took the recreation, and I just asked the why you take the recreation? And they was like, because it gives you more time to spend time with your bail partner. Me being a Muslim, that's activity that we don't even, we don't even condone it. So being able to hear him say that, out loud, and other people heard him say that, I had witnesses at the court, witnesses on the court, and they basically, just told the truth of what they had heard, and all my eyes were presented in my cell. Therefore, the retaliation claim along with that claim alone, I was on the claim of retaliation and the pre-sexual harassment claim I was said to be in my cell box.
Tell us what called them to eventually, what do you really call them to eventually ship them out of state?
What shipped me out of state was I had filed the lawsuit Roscoe versus Collins. I was inside of the religious service, had a religious service, and they try to use the tactic of turning the gang members against the political prisoners. You know what I'm saying? So they had kept some hecklers out of the Nation of Islam service that I had headed, and that I had been heading for the last 7 or 8 years on the Red Onion State prison complex, and I was in there, and some hecklers, started carrying on, making a lot of noise. And it's my duty as a member of the Nation of Islam to hold my post and protect the Nation of Islam at all costs. So I asked the brothers, if they couldn't keep a calm, cool, collected demeanor, that they had to exit the premises so the Nation of Islam could demonstrate greater good. And I guess the guy just got mad and jumped up, and we got, he hit me, and we got into a fight. And then once the fight went on, I got up off the ground after being shot a couple of times, and told people that my jaw structure was broke or felt funny or something. Yeah. And they told me that I looked at mine and threw me in the cell for 2 days with a broken jaw. You know what I'm saying? So, lo and behold, I had my family calling up here, my sister and, other family members and things of that nature, advocating for me while I was inside the cell with my jaw broken away from its normal structure, and I was able to get rushed to the hospital and found out I had a double fracture in my jaw, a severed vein in my face, and things of that nature. And that's what brought about Roscoe versus Collins. So once I began to litigate that lawsuit, it became successful that people down there in Virginia DOC headquarters in Richmond, Virginia, had put out an order not to give me dental treatment because I had filed so many lawsuits against the prison. You know, that started another retaliation claim that I was successful on. One of the prison officials came under oath and admitted that Adam Wyatt, the head dentist for the Virginia Department of Corrections, like he hired all the dentists for all the prisons in Virginia, he had put out an order not to never give me treatment because of my lawsuits. So I was successful in that area, and that's what brought about me being shipped to a whole other state that I've never committed a crime in. I have never been in myself. I've never been in the state. You know, and initially I was shipped to Mississippi, and then from Mississippi I was sent to Maryland. So, you know, that's what brought about me on my interstate, you know.
So was this Larry Ross Collins?
Yeah, that's Larry. Yeah, Larry R. Collins. Yeah, that's him.
So for the listeners, I want you all to know that this is the same guy that I won numerous lawsuits against while I was at the same compound. And we will post these, so you all be seeing these. Now, once you got to Maryland, did they send, to your knowledge, did they send word to Maryland?
I initially went to Mississippi. I didn't come to Maryland first. I initially had been shipped to the state of Mississippi.
And how long were you in Mississippi?
I was in Mississippi for about a year, and because of my mother being sick and things of that nature, I was able to, request a hardship transfer to a place more closer. I was requesting to come back to the state of Virginia, but for some strange reason they won't allow me back to the state of Virginia. I guess they feel like I'll be successful on another lawsuit exercising my constitutional right. So they sent me from Maryland. They sent me from Mississippi. They put me in a prison called Nottoway in Virginia, and then I was attacked by some guards down there. At that moment, they put in ambulatory restraints for 49 hours, and then about 3 days after being taken out of ambulatory restraints, they sent me to her.
Let me ask you a question. Out here in Virginia, because I want to be clear for the audience, have you ever been part of or associated with the gang?
No, I've never been an actual gang member myself.
Let me ask you,
they try to classify me as one.
Okay.
But I'm not been one.
Have you had any stabbing charges, assaults on officers, anything of that nature that would justify them saying that you couldn't be safely housed in Virginia?
I've never had any stabbing on any officers or anything of that nature myself. No, I have never been involved in any type of activity of trying to harm an officer or do anything other than defend myself when an officer caused harm to myself.
All right. And other than being at Red Onion State Prison, have you been any other facilities out here in Virginia other than Nottoway and Red Onion?
I always been housed at Red Onion because of my time. You know what I'm saying? So, when I first came in the system, I was 18 years old. I came in through Powhatan Receiving Institution, and then was shipped from Powhatan to Red Onion. And I've been in Red Onion my whole entire week. You know what I'm saying? My whole entire time in prison, from 18 to 31. Okay, from 18 to 30, I was at Red Onion. So
just to be clear, you came in the system at 18 years old, and without having a disciplinary charge, without having had any kind of weapon charges, gang-related charges, anything of that nature, you went straight from receiving to a Supermax compound. Yeah, I was straight from receiving, to a Supermax institution, and was housed in the Supermax institution from that point until I was successful in that last lawsuit with Larry R. Collins. Yeah. All right. Now, once you arrived in Maryland, tell us about what happened in Maryland.
I came to Maryland, and when I came to Maryland, I went to a prison called JCI. And while I was at JCI, going through what I was going through at JCI, I was inside a building that didn't have any heat. or didn't have any water or hot water, running water. It was like it was like dead middle of winter time, like 42, 30 degrees outside. And I had filed an ARP against JCI, and I was successful on the ARP. That ARP was found to have buried. And then due to that ARP, the warden sent me to maximum security prison out here in Cumberland, Maryland, that resembled the makeup of red onion to the letter, to the T, all the way down to the officers that work at the prison in Cumberland. And then, since I've been at Cumberland, I was coming down the rec yard, and the officer told me he wanted to pat me down or something. He wound up patting me down and then took me into a room and basically told me to take my clothes off. Once I took my clothes off, he told me to lift my foot up, put my hands on the wall, or he was going to bust me in my head if I took my hands off the wall. So I kept my hands on the wall with no clothes on, completely naked, and he told me to lift my foot up. I'm thinking the man just want to look at the bottom of my foot. I lift my foot up, man grabbed my foot. I snatched my foot out of his hand like, man, you don't touch me while I'm naked. He whipped a crowd control camera, OP spray out, and told me to put my hands back on the wall. So now I'm under duress. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no clothes on. I ain't trying to have an OP spray all on my lower extremities and things like that nature. So I put my hands back on the wall. Man, then began to rub my hand up my leg and everything else. And I filed a prayer complaint against that because they're not supposed to be touching us while we completely naked. And then I was sent from that prison to a prison called North Branch because I went and withdraw my prayer complaint against the officer. And then once I got over here, they tried to put me in a cell that had feces cleared all over the wall, all over the toilet, which Maryland Department of Corrections had pictures of the cell and the condition of the cell when I was put in the cell. And when I tried to verbally protest going in the cell, they yoked me up, choked me out, and I woke up in the cell. You know what I'm saying? My ribs were bruised real bad. So then I began to, verbally express to the sergeant every time I say, look, this is unsanitary, this still ain't right. And somebody needs to do something about it. They never did nothing about it. And when Intel came to see me, I expressed to them that the cell was unsanitary. And he came and took pictures of the cell. And one thing led to another. The police got mad because I told the outside Intel people, and they left me in the cell for extra time, not feeding me, not putting no food in my tray, putting my tray empty in the box. Like, just all these different types of tactics to get me to I guess, fight for my rights. And in doing so, they snatched my arm through the tray slot with handcuffs on, broke my wrist. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's the type of cheating I've been experiencing out here.
Have you received any medical care for your ribs or your wrists?
I have not received any medical care for my ribs or my wrists. I have seen a nurse who looked at my wrist and told me that it might be the cartilage in my wrist, but they don't actually know what it is. They just found my wrist had H-bands and put me back in the cell, but they came and tried to take pictures of me the other day, but I tried to tell them, if y'all gonna take pictures of me, take pictures of my injuries as well, and they was like, no, they don't want to take pictures of my injuries, they just want to take pictures of my face. See, what they do is they beat your body up. They don't beat your face up. You know what I'm saying? So when they use brutality or unnecessary excessive force against you, they concentrate on your body because normally you're going to have a shirt on, normally you're going to have pants on, you know what I'm saying, to cover up these bruises and things of that nature. So, they won't take pictures of nothing about my face because they know they didn't beat my face.
I want to backtrack and ask you a question. And I'm asking for the audience purpose because a lot of the audience here from this sister show know me. Who did they tell you reminded them of when you would litigate at Red Onion?
I reminded them of the brother that I didn't know at the time named Donell as well. You know what I'm saying? Any one of us that would be litigating in that prison, they kind of like had put a facade on us. And Donell was one of the guys that was in the prison system before me, and coming up in that same regime or coming up in that same, new era of Virginia, I guess they started seeing the same type of things. I had educated myself, read some books and things of that nature, and I knew my rights. Reminded me of Donell.
I want to say this because sometimes people think that brothers just decide to do this stuff just for fun. And I've been talking to your family this week. Great family. They're fighting hard for you out here. Is it true that you couldn't read and write when you first went to prison?
Yeah, when I first came to prison, I was probably like, like a 7th to 8th grade level. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't really. School wasn't very important to me because I had to grow up quick. You know what I'm saying? So I really not pay attention to school. So I never could really read that good.
But you got good. You learned the law and how to apply it to your situation.
And when they sit you down in the cell for 23 hours a day, man, and you ain't got nothing but your brain and your physicality, you're gonna either do one thing, only one or two things. You're gonna wither away, or you're gonna take, the 7.5 ounces of brain that Allah has blessed us with, and you're gonna facilitate it and use it, and you're gonna fight yourself out of this hole by that thing.
While you here recently, I've called to the prison with your sisters, and have you been fed?
Well, I got a trade last night since you and my sister and them had called up here, letting them know that they wasn't feeding me. But since before last night, I had looks like a week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks worth of trade. I was having fish food. I was having fish food from under the door from other comrades that's within the prison complex where I'm at right now. I was having to fish food from them just to get, some nourishment during the month of Ramadan, which, is the holy month where we fast as Muslims and we try to get more closer to Allah and the deity of Allah, understanding our lordship and our relationship with the Lord and all that. And no, I haven't eaten just until last night. I got the first trade in a long time.
So let me ask you this. Are they giving you water? Are they allowing you to flush the toilet? Like, tell us about that.
Nah, they had turned my water off. Probably like a week and a half ago. And then everything, like I said, everything yesterday, they moved me to a whole other cell now. Got me in the cell, water working in this cell right here. So I've been able to, drink a lot of water since I've been moved to the cell. I got moved to the cell on the 13th. So yeah, since yesterday, day before yesterday, I moved to the cell.
All right, so having successfully litigated out here in Virginia, you successfully filed complaint forms out there in Maryland. What, if any, kind of threats?
Now, successfully filing a complaint form, I got to stop you there. They not allowing me to alleviate the grievance system because they already know, like, they telling me you're not in Virginia because of your lawsuit filing. So, like, they taking my ARPs and they not turning them in. I'm not getting suits for them. You know what I'm saying? Or they picking through the ones they want to take. Like, I tried to put the ARP in for a career complaint the other day, and the man told me he wasn't signing the career complaint. You feel me? Like, he telling me you snitching on an officer. You know what I'm saying? Then, on the 12th, they had another prisoner. They had this prisoner in chains and shackles. They let this prisoner come up to my door and tell me he go on camera on one T-pod. And I'm at North Branch. I want people to understand what prison I'm at too. I don't want to shy away from the actual makeup. Like, this is Red Onion all over again. North Branch State, it's built like Red Onion. It looks like Red Onion. The shields are the same color as the ones in Red Onion. Caucasian people, you know what I'm saying? And I'm being mistreated by these people simply because I want to exercise my rights. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, these folks, man, like it's a mindset they got, man, that we want to exercise our rights. And they're going to take our ARPs, they're going to throw them in the trash. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they know you're a litigator. If they know you're a litigator, you somehow, some way can affect the way the prison is funded by the federal government, or can affect the way the prison get funds from other local agencies and things that they being sued all the time.
Right.
So they throw the ARPs and try to stop that.
If you could sum it up, what do you want the people out here to know about you and what you're going through?
Well, first of all, I want the people to know that, you know what I'm saying, it didn't take me 15 years to understand, the wrong I was involved in. You know what I'm saying? Second of all, I want the people to understand that just because I'm behind this door, just as anybody, like the overall numbers, they say 7 every 10 families in the United States of America has somebody incarcerated. So, your loved one is incarcerated. This may be going on with them. So I want people just to understand that I'm a human being. I'm not a number. I want people to understand that I'm a human being. I'm not live cattle. I'm not a party player in the modern day slave mentality that is holding. You know what I'm saying? I feel as though, just because I'm in this field, I'm not of this field. You know what I'm saying? I'm a human being. I'm somebody's brother. I'm somebody's father. I'm somebody's grandson. I'm somebody's son. You know what I'm saying? I should be looked upon as one. But currently, I'm not being looked upon as that because of my education, my self-education at that. Because they don't give you no crash course on how to alleviate yourself excessive force or denial of medical treatment, denial of practice your religion, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted people to know, man, I fully support anybody who is going through what they're going through, no matter color, creed, or belief system. You know what I'm saying? I'm a human being. I have a heart. I have a beating heart in my chest. I have a brain that thinks and that has emotions in it. So when you think about me, just think about your brother who may be going through this or your sister who may be going through this, because I ain't the only one being this truth. You know what I'm saying? And I don't advocate for myself. I advocate for the people. You feel me?
Well, I want to end by saying that I'm gonna have you speak in a second, but thank you. Like, being compared to me behind those walls, it's a compliment. I'm outside those walls, and I'm doing everything in my power to bring light to your case. So we're going to fight for you. I thank you for fighting for yourself and for other people in there. That makes you a soldier. The sister that's up here, Jay Renee, like, this is her podcast, and she's out here 10 toes down.
And I appreciate her for letting me speak out on my podcast. Tell her that thank you.
She hear you.
You're welcome.
Now, Sarah, this, and for all y'all listening, this is his sister Sarah, I'm sorry. And Sarah is, like myself, a former active duty Marine. And she came to see me about her brother. And, like, I have a firm out here that I run. I'm normally charged. And this was one of those cases where I said, no, we're going to fight for him, because, like, this guy has been on the inside doing good work. Sarah, from the thing that you've seen your brother going through and he's told you about, how do you feel about this?
I feel disgusted. I feel disgusted, very disappointed in the system that I actually sacrificed my life to protect in this country. So not only do I feel disgusted with myself for serving such a country, but I feel disgusted with the people who are actually putting him under their knee. There's no excuses. So I'm taking my anger, instead of crying and beating down walls about it, I'm taking it brick by brick, and I'm trying to get and scratch at the people who need to be held accountable, whoever they are, at whatever level they are at. They need to be held accountable, and I'm angry. There's another emotion to that, which is a secondary emotion. I'm very angry. I'm angry because I don't really think that you could walk in their house right now, grab their son, and break their son's arm while he tries to eat his food. That's not how civilized people conduct themselves. We talk about a rehabilitative system. That's what they want you to hear. But from my they move them around like they're nothing. They get money from them. From having them and then house them in less than humane situations. Everybody has the right to water, food, and medical human right, and he is not getting that. In a system that receives hundreds of thousands of dollars from him and other inmates like him, from our good-paying taxpayers. So not only am I disgusted, to answer your question, I'm disappointed and I'm angry. And now what I've done is my brother has empowered me to be the eyes, the ears with my family. And that's how I feel about it.
Tell me what you've done so far to try to get your brother help.
Well, we as a family have counting now, so I can count how many emails that I've sent, how many people were CC'd and DC'd and ABC'd on those emails. Staying up, I go to sleep at 4 in the morning, and I wake up at about 5:30 because I know my brother's about to send an email, and I need to be on point when these emails go out. We reached out to the Innocence Project, who actually reached out back to us to gather this information. We reached out to the ACLU in Virginia and the ACLU in Maryland. We reached out to the governor's office. We also reached out to the senator's office, which all the offices we've reached out to have, in fact, reached back out to us.
They have.
Everyone has reached back out to me, yes.
Let's stop with the chat, please. Come in. What did the governor's office have to say?
The governor's office, first off, they apologized to my family for us experiencing what we were experiencing. They took down a lot of vital information, and at that point, they assured me that they were stepping in and that they would keep me abreast of all the changes as this unfolded. I was also told that they were working on an agreement to have my brother sign and have, so that way he could sign that agreement and be sent back to Virginia. And that's just another conversation in itself, because I'm trying to figure out what we got to sell souls now to get in a healthy, safe environment. So that was pretty interesting to hear how even at this crucial time of his life, with life really on danger, they came back and said, well, what about the paperwork? Well, what about the paperwork? And I said, well, what about his life? None of the paperwork matters, man. If I can't, if this man will come home alive. No food for a week. Body can sustain after a certain amount of time.
60 seconds remaining.
Some of the agencies that I reached out to, civil rights activists, prison rights activists.
Did you call Brother?
Yes, I've actually been in contact with Maryland.
Who did you speak to?
I spoke to Miss Schmidt. I spoke to Patricia Smith. I spoke to Mr. Walker, Miss Casey down in case management. I spoke to Mr. Cal Rush down in the DODC. The Virginia Department of Corrections. I spoke to Lieutenant Metz, and I spoke to Sergeant Goodwrench. I heard the one that broke my brother's wrist. I heard of Mr. Let's talk about the chaplain. In this messages led to the chaplain, Mr. Kevin Lamb. Endless emails left to him, messages left to him to contact my family so that we could get spiritual healing for the things that we were going through. Not only utilizing our chain of command, but utilizing the resources that they say we're supposed to be using. And nothing at all.
You live here in Virginia?
No, I live in California.
Why are you here in Virginia?
In Virginia to try to save my brother's life.
You drove all the way across the country. And I want everyone to realize this right here. She doesn't have a scrap of paper in her hand. Everything she just recalled is from memory. And she just got here how long ago?
I've been home, 3 weeks? 2.5, 3 weeks?
Have you slept?
I cannot remember the last time I slept.
I also have Roscoe's sister Karen here. And I'm going to go a different way right here because I spoke with his mother at length earlier. I've been with the family all day after I got off work. And I sat with his mom and I held his mom and she cried. But it was brief, so I don't know her that intimately. Karen, tell her about your mom.
Well, my mom is very sick. She's suffering with a heart disease. She's also suffering with a liver disease, kidney failure. She's on hospice right now. She takes medicine to keep her anxiety low. She also is taking pain meds to keep her comfortable. She's doing that right now. She agreed to do the hospice to try to keep her comfortable enough while we go through this situation with my brother. There's no telling how long she has to live. Any day we could be making phone calls saying she passed. So far, that's all I have to say about her.
Let me tell you all something. I sat with his mother today, and I held her like I didn't get to hold my mom when she died. And one of the things she told me was that she went to see her son at Sussex, one state prison, and the people would not allow her son after he'd been hurt. And it's heartbreaking. I'm a tough guy, like I'm a real tough guy, but right now my heart's hurting because his mom cried in my arms, like, and she's telling me that I want to see my child. I just want to touch my son. She finally got to hear his voice about a month maybe. And she's not allowed to see her son. And like she did, his daughter said it could be very well be the last days of her life. She's on hospice care. Like, we need some people to reach out. Mr. Roush out here, what's his first name?
Mr. Kyle Roush.
Kyle Roush has said, I'm writing that he's going to bring this man back home. There does not have to be a delay. On the Interstate Corrections Compact, they can bring you and send you out at their will. So we're calling the people out there to do the right thing, to call into the Virginia Department of Corrections, to call into the Maryland Department of Corrections, and send this man home. It is a clear case of retaliation. This is not a case where this man poses a threat to security. They literally have sent him out here, just like they've done with myself in the past, because he was successful in litigating and exposing them in court for what they've been doing behind closed doors. Red Onion State Prison, the officer he named, Larry Ross Collins, I had won tens of thousands of dollars against this guy alone. And the fear that he's still there menacing people behind these walls, it's a shock to the conscience. And the Department of Corrections still is not doing anything. So when we call for justice and we say we want it now, let's be more specific. Emmitt George Roscoe Jr., please come together, and we have a petition out. Where's the petition at?
Well, the petition can be found on my sister's social media. Her name's Roscoe Karen, and it is currently a little over 1,300 signatures, and we need as many as possible because the more signatures, the more exposure.
I'm going to put I'm going to put it up on my Facebook page, Big Don, my page, Basil Abdullah, and my other page, Donell J. Blount, Senior Paralegal. So you can find the petition out there. Please sign and help us to get justice for this brother and his family. And we're going to work tirelessly here in Virginia to get him home and to get him the care that he needs. Thank you all so much for giving us ear.